And when you speak of off limits, are we allowed to have lobster or chubfish in our freezers so that we can consume during the close season? In other words, could I stockpile towards the end of April so that I have and I can use down in May and June?
Just no sell none.
So let's. I like this question because this has been the heavy question that has popped up recently, which is not the first time, but let's address it.
Mm-hmm.
So the law says it is illegal for a person to fish for, take,
Oh.
place for sale, purchase, or have in possession any of these species during the close season. Fish for, take, place for sale, purchase, or have in possession. And so everybody goes, oh, but what happened if I have it in my freezer? Right? That's the number one question. I had it in my freezer before the season ended,
Mm.
right? It comes down to two things. It comes down to how easy can you enforce something, right? Um, we currently don't have the mechanisms to have accurate tracking of everything that everybody catches prior. But the other major part, and probably the larger part, comes back to what I said in terms of the more fish that are available during the reproductive season, the more likely that you have more successful reproduction. So how I like to say it, right, Slightly,
Mm.
is everybody loves money, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody will agree. Everybody like to have more money in their bank account. At least I would love to have more money in the bank account. Me and Petra, Slightly, maybe your bank account is
No,
He maybe he
nice
done
and
one,
fat.
but
no
yeah,
word, no
we
word,
have
Yeah, yeah,
missions.
yeah, yeah.
no word, Mr. Harris.
But
You
okay.
set me up.
All right. So here's an example that I've used. You have this bank, and for 2 months, the bank says it's going to give you 50% interest for 2 months, right? If you know your bank every year for 2 months is going to give you 50% interest on your savings account, you would want to make sure that there's as much money in your savings account prior to that 2 months so you can get as much reward returns from the interest as possible, right?
True, true.
That makes sense?
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Right. So in the same way, in this high chance of reproduction for the species, you want to ensure that as much of them are there as possible in the ecosystem. So that's why you don't want to stockpile. Because when you stockpile, when you put a bunch in your fridge so you can go through the closed season, you're reducing the success of the creature during its reproductive time. And so because of that, what you don't want to, what that's why they say you can't have in your possession, because you want to ensure that there's as much available so that after the close season, you can then stock back up. And it's only 2 months. It's only 2 months that we're at. We're among the shortest. Most places is 4 to 5 months. I know at least one place that has a 6 month close season. We're 2 months. And we're struggling with 2 months. And if the population collapses, it's going to be more than 2 months in the future. So we have to
Rulio,
also think about it that way.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
read. I'm gonna read a question to you. I'm just gonna read it. So me must throw
Hmm.
away my expensive lobster that in my freezer that I bought a few weeks before the deadline. Will I be compensated for the money I just spent? Remember, lobster not cheap now.
Right. Okay. So fair question. And here's my response to that. There's two
Let me
parts of
hear.
the response to that.
Let me hear this
One,
one.
these closed seasons have been there since 2014. These closed seasons aren't new. They're not something that have just freshly come. So it's about how you plan. It's about ensuring that you plan better because every year, the beginning of May is closed season for lobster. So if you know you're in April, the midway through April, and you have 5 lobster left back,
Yam
have a
them.
lobster cook up. Yam them. Right? But don't go buy more to ensure that you
Ah,
have enough to
And say,
last through the
okay,
season,
2 months, but
right?
what a lobster.
So that's part of it. It's again the idea is you don't because if everybody said, oh, let me go buy 20 pounds of lobster so that over the next 2 months I have enough, then there's not enough lobster to reproduce, and then in 2 years you can't find 20 pounds of lobster. You can only get 10, and 2 more years from that you can't find 10. You only get five, and then 2 more years from that you only get
Can't
one
get
pound, and then
none.
2 more years from that you don't get any lobster. And then people can say, oh, they should have done better to manage the fishery.
If I could have, would have, should.
But we all have a responsibility to play in terms of we know the close season. They're played in Florida. The dates of the close season gets adjusted based on the previous year's stock assessment. So it changes every year.
So
And
in other
sometimes they
words,
randomly will.
slow down there, Ruleo. I want you to pause right there. So in
Mhm.
other words, if last year at the end of that closed season and what they've seen post that, that their fisheries people don't see the desired stock levels that they want, they can make an
They increase the
adjustment
close season.
to lengthen it
Yes,
the subsequent year.
yes, yes.
Versus in
That's what most
Antigua,
places do.
we just do the fixed period.
We just have a fixed date right now.
All right.
And the thing is, I think people don't understand that there is a possibility that we can push this fishery to the point where we have to move away from the fixed date and have these a lot more stringent methods. We have the simplest method at this point. But if we can't follow this method, we're going to create problems also in the future. And that's the part that I think people don't really understand.